That new car smell. You know the one. You slide into the driver's seat for the first time. Everything is clean, everything is tight. The leather hasn't cracked yet. The dashboard has zero scratches. The engine purrs like it was built specifically for you. For about 72 hours, you feel like you've made it. You drive a little slower past people you know. You park where everyone can see it. You take a photo and post it with a caption about blessings and hard work. And then month one hits. $738 leaves your account automatically. You barely notice because the excitement is still fresh. Month three hits. The payment feels normal now. The car doesn't feel new anymore. It's just your car. Month six, someone in the parking lot dings your door. The new car feeling is completely gone, but the payment hasn't changed, not even by a penny. Month 12, the car has lost roughly 20% of its value. If you paid $40,000, it's worth about $32,000 now. You've made $8,856 in payments, and your car is worth $8,000 less than what you owe. You are underwater on a depreciating asset, and you still have 5 more years of payments left. This is the car payment trap, and by the time this video is over, you're going to understand exactly how much it's actually costing you. Not the sticker price, not the monthly payment, the real number, the one the dealership will never print on any window sticker, the one that will make you physically uncomfortable when you hear it. Let's start with how the trap is designed, because this isn't an accident. The automotive industry has spent decades engineering a purchasing system that makes you focus on one number and one number only: the monthly payment. Walk into any dealership in America, and the first question you'll hear isn't, "What's your budget?" It's, "What monthly payment are you comfortable with?" That question sounds helpful. It sounds like they're trying to work within your means. But it's actually the most profitable question they can ask because it opens the door to every financial manipulation that follows. Here's how it works. You say you're comfortable with $500 a month. The salesperson nods and disappears for 20 minutes. They come back with a deal: $500 in the month. You feel good. You negotiated. You won. Except you didn't, because they hit that $500 number by extending your loan from 60 months to 84 months. 7 years. You didn't negotiate a better price. You negotiated a longer leash. Your total cost went from $30,000 to $42,000. But it doesn't feel that way because the monthly number is the only one your brain is processing. The average new car loan in 2026 is 69.7 months, nearly 6 years. The average used car loan is 67.8 months. These numbers would have been considered absurd 20 years ago, when 36 to 48-month loans were standard. But the industry kept pushing loan terms longer and longer because it was the only way to keep monthly payments manageable as car prices exploded. The average new car transaction price in 2026 is approximately $49,500. Average used car price sits around $28,500. These prices have risen roughly 30% since 2019. Wages during that same period rose approximately 18%. Cars got 30% more expensive, while your ability to pay for them only grew by 18%. The gap was filled entirely by longer loans and higher interest rates. You're not affording the car, you're financing the illusion of affording the car. Now let me walk you through what happens to your money the moment you sign that loan agreement, because this is where the trap gets genuinely predatory. The average interest rate on a new car loan in 2026 is approximately 7.1%. For used cars, it's closer to 11.3%. For buyers with credit scores below 650, rates can spike to 14, 17, even 21%. Let's run the real math on a scenario that millions of Americans are living right now. You buy a new car for $40,000, you put down $2,000. You finance $38,000 at 7.1% for 72 months. Your monthly payment is $653. Over the life of that loan, you will pay a total of $47,016. That's $9,016 in pure interest. $9,000 paid to a bank for the privilege of driving something that loses value every single day you own it. Now run that same math on a used car purchase with a higher interest rate. You buy a used car for $26,000, finance $24,000 at 11.3% for 67 months. Monthly payment is $491. Total paid over the life of the loan is $32,897. That's $8,897 in interest on a used car, almost $9,000 in interest on a vehicle that was already depreciated before you bought it. But interest isn't even the most expensive part of owning a car. Depreciation is. And nobody talks about depreciation because you can't see it. It doesn't show up on your monthly statement. It doesn't auto debit from your account. It just silently destroys your wealth in the background while you obsess over gas prices. A new car loses approximately 20% of its value in the first year. By year 3, it's lost roughly 40%. By year 5, about 60%. That $40,000 car you bought is worth $24,000 after 3 years and $16,000 after 5 years. You lost $24,000 in value over 5 years. That's $400 per month vanishing into thin air. Add that invisible $400 to your $653 monthly payment, and your car is actually costing you over $1,050 per month. Then stack the other ownership costs: insurance averaging $235 per month, gas at $180 per month, maintenance and repairs at roughly $100 per month, registration, inspections, and miscellaneous fees averaging $50 per month. Your total monthly cost of car ownership is approximately $1,615. On a $5,170 monthly take-home pay at the median income, your car is consuming 31% of your entire paycheck. Nearly one-third of everything you earn goes to a machine that sits parked 95% of the time. Now here's where the $500,000 number comes in, because I know that's what you clicked for, and I promise you the math is real. The average American buys their first car around age 22 and continues making car payments for essentially the rest of their working life. Not on the same car, obviously, but the cycle repeats. Buy a car, make payments for 6 years, trade it in while still owing money, roll the remaining balance into a new loan, start over with an even bigger payment. This cycle repeats roughly every 5 to 6 years, from age 22 to age 65. That's approximately 7 to 8 cars over a working lifetime. Let me calculate the average total spent on car payments alone across that time frame. Average monthly payment across new and used vehicles is approximately $630. Over 43 years of continuous car payments from age 22 to 65, that's $630 times 12 months times 43 years. $325,080 in car payments alone, not including insurance, gas, maintenance, registration, or repairs, just the loan payments. When you add the full ownership costs, averaging $1,615 per month, the lifetime total reaches approximately $833,340. You will spend over $800,000 on cars during your working life. But that's still not the $500,000 number I promised you, because the real cost isn't what you spend on cars, it's what you don't invest because of cars. This is opportunity cost, and it's the silent wealth killer that makes the car payment trap so devastating. Let's take just the payment portion, $630 per month. If instead of making car payments, you invested that $630 per month into a diversified index fund earning 8% annually from age 22 to 65, you would accumulate approximately $2.6 million. You read that right. $2.6 million. The difference between what you actually spend on car payments over your lifetime, roughly $325,000, and what that money could have grown to if invested, approximately $2.6 million, dollars, is over $2.2 million dollars in lost wealth. I used $500,000 in the title because I was being conservative. I was only calculating the opportunity cost of the payment difference between a reasonable used car and the average new car purchase. The full picture is even worse. Let me show you what a different approach looks like. Not a fantasy approach where you never own a car, a realistic approach where you simply make different car decisions. Instead of buying a $40,000 new car, you buy a reliable 3 to 4 year old used car for $16,000. You save up and pay cash. No loan, no interest, no monthly payment, no being underwater. That car will run reliably for 5 to 7 more years with proper maintenance. Your total car costs drop from $1,615 per month to roughly $565 per month, covering insurance, gas, maintenance, and setting aside money for your next cash purchase. The difference is $1,050 per month. If you invest that $1,050 monthly difference at 8% returns from age 25 to 65, you accumulate approximately $3.5 million. $3.5 million. Not from starting a business, not from getting lucky in the stock market, not from inheritance or a six-figure salary, from buying boring, reliable used cars with cash instead of buying shiny new ones with 7-year loans. That's the real cost the dealership doesn't put on the window sticker. You're not buying a car. You're choosing a car over becoming a millionaire. And here's what makes this trap so psychologically effective. Cars are identity purchases. Nobody buys a car purely for transportation. They buy a car for how it makes them feel, for what it signals to other people, for the story it tells about who they are and how successful they've become. The automotive industry knows this intimately. That's why car commercials never talk about depreciation curves or total interest paid. They show winding mountain roads, attractive people, and freedom. They sell emotion, they sell status, they sell identity. And you pay for that identity with your retirement. Think about this. When you see someone driving a brand new $55,000 SUV, what's your instinctive reaction? You probably assume they're doing well financially, successful, comfortable. But here's what the statistics actually say about that person. There's a 72% chance they're making monthly payments on that vehicle. There's a significant chance they owe more than the vehicle is worth. There's a reasonable probability that car payment is the reason they have less than $1,000 in emergency savings. That shiny SUV isn't a symbol of wealth. Statistically, it's a symbol of debt. Meanwhile, the actual millionaire next door is statistically more likely to drive a Toyota Camry or a Honda CR-V that's 3 to 5 years old. Thomas Stanley's research in The Millionaire Next Door found that the most common car brands among millionaires were Toyota, Honda, and Ford. Not BMW, not Mercedes, not Lexus. The people who actually have money don't feel the need to prove it with their vehicle. The people who don't have money feel compelled to prove that they do. This is the deepest layer of the car payment trap. It's not just financial, it's psychological. It exploits your need for status, your desire for comfort, and your fear of being perceived as unsuccessful. It takes those completely human emotions and converts them into a 72-month revenue stream for banks and dealerships while systematically destroying your ability to build actual wealth. Let me address the objections I know are forming in your head right now because they're the same objections everyone raises. First, I need a reliable car for work. Absolutely. Nobody is arguing against reliable transportation. A $14,000 to $18,000 used Toyota Corolla or Honda Civic with 30 to 50,000 miles on it is extraordinarily reliable. These cars routinely run to 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Reliability doesn't cost $40,000. Reliability costs a fraction of that. The remaining $22,000 is paying for aesthetics, features, and status. Second, I got a good interest rate, so it makes sense to finance. No interest rate makes it smart to borrow money for something that loses 60% of its value in 5 years. A good interest rate on a bad financial decision is still a bad financial decision. You wouldn't borrow money at 3% to buy something that immediately loses 20% of its value in any other context. But the car industry has normalized this logic so thoroughly that it feels reasonable. Third, I deserve a nice car after working so hard. This one is emotional, and I understand it completely. You do work hard. You do deserve nice things. But a nice car financed over 7 years at the expense of your retirement savings, your emergency fund, and your financial freedom isn't a reward. It's a punishment disguised as a treat. The real reward for hard work is financial security. The real luxury is not being stressed about money. No car provides that. Only savings and investments provide that. Fourth, my car is my only luxury. Maybe so, but if your only luxury costs $1,615 per month and prevents you from building any wealth for the next 40 years, it's not a luxury. It's a liability consuming your entire financial future. I'm not telling you to ride a bicycle to work or drive a car that's falling apart. I'm telling you that the difference between a $40,000 car and a $16,000 car over a lifetime is literally millions of dollars. Not thousands, millions. And no amount of leather seats, touchscreen dashboards, or turbocharged engines is worth millions of dollars in lost wealth. Every car commercial you've ever seen was designed to make you forget this math. Every dealership is structured to hide this math. Every friend who shows off their new car is unknowingly advertising this math in reverse. The entire system depends on you never doing this calculation. Now you've done it. The average person will spend over $800,000 on cars in their lifetime and retire with almost nothing. The person who buys reliable used cars and invests the difference will spend under $300,000 on transportation and potentially retire with millions. Same income, same roads, same daily commute. Radically different financial outcomes. The car you drive is a choice. What that choice costs you over a lifetime is the math nobody wants you to see. Now you've seen it. What you do next is up to you.